Hello, my ragtime gals. Let's play a thing by wire, 'cause baby, my heart's on fire. Sorry about not getting a video up last weekend. I intended to, but I had ended up in the final stretch of Dark Souls 2. And, well, that game is crack, and I'm not made of stone. I have to say, having finished it, that it is indeed a worthy sequel, if not a superior one. I think it does fall a little bit short of the standard set by its illustrious predecessor. But that is a hell of an act to follow and a hell of a bar to clear, and it is still a fantastic game. I have to say, one of the things that really drove home for me how awesome the original Dark Souls was the fact that even as I was finishing it up, I was already looking forward to what I was going to do with New Game Plus, and I got the same feeling as I finished Dark Souls 2, so good stuff. But back to the game at hand. Last time on Hell, a cyberpunk thriller, we got the big reveal that Hell is a virtual reality construct, and we learned that a number of members of the Citizens Freedom Front are being held in various hell pits, where their minds are basically held prisoner, preventing the CFF folks in the Pentagon from getting their bodies out. So we have to go diving into the various VR hell pits and freeing the members of the CFF shadow government from their confinement, so that their bodies can be rescued as well. And so there will be an interim government once we bring down the Hand, which is now our sort of overarching goal. And we learned that by using the Psychopomp to travel to Charon, we can access various hell pits at will. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And we'll use our trusty Psychopomp. Put in the appropriate address, if we can type it correctly. Don our skullcap and Aztec barber smock. And skip the cutscene because we've already seen it a number of times. Nice jet ski.
The ferry isn't what ferries used to be, but then the river isn't what you'd expect either. The proverbial figure of death has become a bit cheerier of late, having put down his scythe to take up a new business.
Well, good to know the ferryman's in high spirits of late. Wonder what's got him so cheerful.
Greetings. Welcome to Charon's boat rides along the scenic Styx. My name is Charon, and I'll be your guide on this red water rafting trip. Passengers are advised not to dip their hands into the river, or they will pull back a charred stump. And beware of the spray, as it will dapple your complexion with searing lesions and, well, outright holes. As there is limited seating, passengers are further advised to cling to each other for dear life. We hope that you regret traveling with us today, and that you suffer mercilessly during your stay, and that you come again. Please state your destination.
Oh, he gets to play tour guide. And I gotta say, the man's got the patter down pat. And this is going to be our hub area for our explorations in the various prison hell pits. As you can see, they're divided up by their masters, Belial, Beelzebub, and Mephistopheles, the unholy trio as we learned from Mouchoir's computer. And we can also go to Sanguinarius' arsenal and Beautiful's hostage hell pit, but the only real reasons to go back to those are if you have not already thoroughly looted them, and we have. So, we're going to stick with our plan of infiltrating the prison hell pits. Well, not really infiltrating, we'll just be strolling in, bold as any guest. And we're going to start with Mephistos today. Let's check out the Hell Dentist's office. Zoom. Oh my. Yes, I do find the Hell Dentist's office to be one of the more disconcerting hell pits, and I'm sure you can see, or rather hear, why. The constant screaming of the prisoner, and that horrible dentist drill noise, constant for as long as you're here. I do have to say I like the neon, though, and the general color scheme of the place is certainly vivid.
Although the only person in hell who is perhaps more sadistic than Malbolge the dentist is his interior decorator, the decor isn't the sole giveaway that this is the office of a fiend. The blood splattered around the victim's chair contributes to the impression.
Well, apparently the dentist's name is Malbolge. Let's have a look at him.
A hideous demon dentist practices his profession. Blood drains through a tube from the patient's mouth as he squirms and thrashes in agony. Malbolge drills and hammers, pulls and tears at healthy teeth and gums. He frequently breathes nitrous oxide from a gas mask to add to his enjoyment.
A charming fellow, as expected. And our prisoner.
The former Secretary of State, Alfred Chesu, writhes in extreme pain in Malbolge's dental chair. Obviously, the demon works without anesthesia. Chesu kicks and screams. Bloody saliva runs from a tube in his mouth and splashes onto the floor.
Well, that's just delightful. Secretary Chesu, how do you feel? That's about what I figured. And Malbolge, what do you have to say for yourself? For whatever reason, this area really slows the game to a crawl. Also, Gideon, what on earth are you doing?
Stop squirming! If you hadn't waited so long between checkups, this wouldn't have happened! Besides, it isn't good for you if it doesn't hurt a little. Sorry, did I hit a nerve? Whoops, I hit it again! Sorry! What's that? No insurance? I'm afraid we'll have to bypass the anesthesia and keep that for the doctor! Stuff is so sweet. I do love dentistry.
Straight out of Little Shop of Horrors. Alright, well, clearly we're going to have to do something about this situation, but before we do, let's have a look around at some of the stuff we're inevitably going to loot.
This tank contains nitrous oxide gas, which is not lethal but can knock people out nearly instantaneously. Demons, it just makes crazier.
There we go. The personal giggle gas of Dr. Malbolge, DDS. And this appears to be some of his spare equipment.
Hell's version of a dentist drill is bigger and nastier than anything on Earth.
Yep, as expected.
This tank contains nitrous oxide gas, which is not lethal but can knock people out nearly instantaneously. Demons, it just makes crazier.
Okay, that's just a smaller reserve tank of the good stuff. And finally,
this medieval-looking wooden bucket is used in the Hell Dentist's office to catch bloody gauze, which explains the creepy stains.
alright. we'll start with yoinking that, because you never know when you're going to need a bloody gauze bucket. And I'm sure there are all kinds of practical applications for a giant dentist drill. And, you know, Malbolge seems to really enjoy this stuff, so we'll take this along in case we, need a hit later. Now then. What shall we... Oh. Very first item in the inventory seems very well suited to the task at hand. We've secretly replaced Malbolge's standard laughing gas with deadly nerve gas. Let's see if he notices. I think he noticed.
Thank you. You can't believe how painful. I kept telling him I just had my teeth capped, but he just kept drilling.
We're with the front. You're not really in hell. We haven't got time to explain. In a few seconds, you're going to wake up in a room inside the Pentagon. The front has a woman inside who will get you out. Get ready now.
And so Secretary Chesu fades away, and gets the standard wooden skeleton treatment that we've become so accustomed to. Happy trails, Alf. And finally a little quiet around here. And when we're in hell and in the various hell pits, we can always return to the hub by going to the menu, and you see, instead of the DC map, we now have a shortcut back to the sticks. Well, that worked out reasonably well. Let's see if we can liberate another, big shot.
Welcome to Charon's boat rides along the scenic Styx. Please state your destination.
And we're gonna stick with the Mephisto theme and head on over to the music room. That doesn't sound so bad.
The tiles with the musical staves and notes actually give this hell pit somewhat of a cheery air. But it is, after all, a hell pit, which means you better watch your step.
Duly noted. They sure do like their purples and reds here in VR Hell. And who have we got over here?
The former Secretary of Defense, Alice Trenton, is held captive.
Okay, fair enough. Alice Trenton. How you doing, Alice?
Hold on, Ms. Trenton. We're here to rescue you. Are you in pain?
Hell yes, I'm in pain. My whole body feels like it's on fire.
Nice bondage hood. I didn't know Secretaries of Defense were so kinky. Then again, I suppose I always did have my suspicions about Rumsfeld.
Okay, we're gonna rescue her. Any suggestions, big guy?
I don't know. I thought it was your turn to have an inspiration.
glowing stones embedded in the floor emit tones when they're stepped on. Only way to free me from my bonds is to put pressure on the stones in the correct order. Herodias keeps telling me to shut up, that silence is golden, and silence is my only chance of getting out of here alive. Then he starts playing the harp, singing some verse. Murder the dumb, torture the meek, with the scent of death and the gnashing of teeth. Something about silence and that verse must be the key to my rescue. I haven't figured it out.
What order is that?
Don't you think I'd be telling you if I knew it?
Just hold on.
Alright, well, that's really not too terribly complicated. As it turns out, murder the dumb, torture the meek, with the scent of death and the gnashing of teeth, has a specific sequence of silent letters in it. If you take the B in dumb, the E in death, the C in scent, the A in death, and the G in gnashing, you get B-E-C-A-G, and that is the sequence of notes we need to press. But before we get down to business, let's just make sure that Alice doesn't have anything else to impart to us.
Hurry up, kids. I'm in pain here.
Okay, reasonable. I'm failing my words here. Anyway, that's reasonable. And one thing that's fortunate about this puzzle, if you don't happen to have your musical staffs committed to memory, you can look at the various tiles and see what letter is written on them.
A tile marked with a B note.
Well, that's handy. B is the first one we need.
A tile marked with an E note.
Wow, I'm getting them right in order here.
A tile marked with an F note. A tile marked with a G note.
Okay, we got no voice for that one.
A tile marked with a C note. A tile marked with an A note.
And if I recall correctly, this was the G.
A tile marked with a G note.
Alright, that should do it.
Took you long enough. Now then, I assume you can get me out of here.
That's easily done. You should feel it happening any second now.
Wonderful. It's too bad this is all virtual and you can't take objects from hell into the real world, because I know she'd like to hang on to that bitchin' hood.
Welcome to Charon's boat rides along the scenic Styx. Please state your destination.
Alright, we've done all of the Mephisto layers that we can do for the moment. How about the rat room? That sounds very 1984. A little bit noisy in here, but at least it's nowhere near as bad as the dentist's office.
The space of this subterrane seems airily vacant, until you notice the huge rat traps, and then the mysterious tubes. They're clear, but smeared on the inside with some kind of slime.
Alright, let's have a look at those slimy tubes.
A maze of hollow tubes swarming with slimy, gnashing rats.
And who's this fine, sartorially splendid gentleman?
Dingo Tucker's face is frozen in sheer terror as he is suspended in a series of tubes. Husky, hungry rats race through the tubes looking for a way to get at Dingo's flesh.
Dingo Tucker. If I recall correctly, he was the one that, Katerina at the CFF said was, their top electrical engineer. And now, he's imprisoned in a virtual environment in a series of tubes. A twofold prisoner of the internet.
Oh, God, rats! I hate rats!
Tucker, are you hurt? Are you all right?
Hell no, I'm not all right. Rats are my worst nightmare. I can practically feel them crawling all over me. I hear them scratching and chirping. I feel their weight against me when they throw themselves against the tubes. And they're hungry. They're gonna get me. They're gonna eat my skin.
Yeah, I guess that would be a little unsettling. Gotta say, I like the man's skull cap, though. That's a good headgear in the Hell prisoners today.
Just hold on. We'll get you out of there. The rats aren't real. This whole thing, all of it, hell, it's just a computer construct.
You crazy girl? Can't you feel the heat? Look at the teeth of those buggers. They can flay the tissue off a bone in under a minute's time.
Just hold on another second and I'll smash the tubes.
No, don't do that, you fool. These rats are wild. They'll chew us up if they get out. You gotta find some other way to free me and hurry. I'm losing my mind.
Well, not such a painful predicament for Mr. Tucker, but, I guess psychological torture is as potent as any other. Well, I do have to say those rats seem very ornery. In a very bad mood. Let's see if we can cheer them up a little, with some happy gas.
There. That should work.
You killed them, compadres. You can't know how this feels. You can just rot here, you disease-ridden beast.
They're not real, Dingo. We were trying to tell you, but you were too frightened to hear it. All of hell is a virtual reality construct that the government uses to create fear.
Well, they do a damn fine job of it, let me tell you. And how do you mean virtual? Ain't a deck or a system I know of that can generate anything near this complex.
Front text will explain it to you. Your body's currently jacked into a machine at the Pentagon. Burr's got a woman there who will see you out safely. Hold on! She'll pull you out any moment.
Oh, that was very similar. I'm sorry, simple. Having lots of problems with my English today. Anyway, as I was saying, that was very simple. Just a little inventory puzzle involving a thing we had picked up back at the dentist's office. And there's nothing to loot here, so back to the sticks we go. And you know something? I had completely forgotten until just now, but there is another thing we can loot here at the Sticks. You know, I don't think that open container full of highly potent acid is quite dangerous enough. I think we need to also start carrying around a bucket of fire.
This bucket isn't on fire. It contains water from the river Styx.
Now, in any traditional depiction, is the Styx actually described as being on fire? I guess it's just a combination of the traditional hellfire, lake of fire, and the river Styx, but I don't know, maybe I'm just forgetting my mythology here. Alright, moving right along.
Welcome to Charon's boat rides along the scenic Styx. Please state your destination.
Well, the other option we have in Beelzebub's lairs right now is the Hell Ice Field, but we don't have everything we need yet in order to take care of that one. So let's keep an animal theme going and head over to the Hell Zoo. Well, we've got quite a lot to look at here. Dead reptile? What the hell? Anyway.
Things seem to have flip-flopped in Hell's version of the zoo. The only visible beast is the one guarding the caged human.
Well, that's technically not true, because we've got another visible beast right over here.
Hell's answer to pit bulls. A little smaller, maybe, but who's looking at their body? It's hard to see past their teeth.
And that is... Nope, it's not actually in the list of things to examine. Okay, what that actually is a racontiran, the very thing that ate us when we got killed by Sanguinarius. And here we have what looks like another bucket of fire.
This bucket isn't on fire. It contains water from the river Styx.
Well, that's weird. I didn't actually remember there being a spare one of those. I don't think there's any reason we're ever actually going to need two of them, but... well, we're adventure game protagonists. We gotta pick up everything that's not nailed down, and some things that are. What about this?
Small hand-sized beasts that don't have wings, yet somehow seem to levitate and fly.
Oh, they're so cute. We're gonna take them home. And here we have...
The keys to the zoo resemble the keys to some medieval dungeon, which in a way they are.
Fair enough. Definitely gotta grab the keys.
An empty glass jar.
I think the empty jar is another of those red herring items that you can never actually do anything with, but we're not exactly dealing with a limited inventory problem, so in it goes. And this jar is a little more useful.
This glass jar is full of what looks like rancid gravy, with large chunks of meat. The outside of the jar is caked with a crust of dried slop.
Rancid gravy. Just like Mom used to make. And finally, we have a few characters here that we can actually have a look at and eventually interact with. We'll do the traditional examination first.
Everything about him says not too smart. A second opinion would grant that he is ugly, too. However, like a stick of dynamite, it doesn't really matter how bright he is. He has a wide killing radius.
And that is Maculus. Oh, there's the racontiran. And finally, in the cage, we have Eddie Commerce, who you may recall in the Diary of Jean Saint-Mouchois is a subversive band comedian.
A wiry, bearded man kneels with his arms tied to a large railroad tie behind his back. Rendered immobile, he still seems to pace with restless energy, an intellect that can't quit racing, the proverbial motor mouth.
And I forgot there is one more item here we can grab.
Things seem to have flip-flopped in Hell's version.
No, that's not what I wanted to look at, game.
Close inspection reveals that this is no walking staff. It's sharpened at one end, and is more clearly an instrument of torture.
Very cool. Pointy stick. Alright, Maculus, what are you up to here?
Go away. Be busy. Torture you later.
Oh no, we insist. Torture us now.
Wow, lots of people showing a previously unseen kinky side today.
This one could be tricky, Rach.
I'll say. We could laser this guy in the forehead and he probably wouldn't notice. You gotta admire somebody that has that kind of concentration.
Okay, nothing much to glean from his company. How about Eddie?
Hey, it's great to be back in hell again. Although it's a little quiet out there, this could be the sound of that one hand clapping you hear so much about. Solix, baby, you out there? I can't see the audience because of the stage lights.
Bet no audience ever stepped me before.
That's where you're wrong, you pinhead. You know how comedians are always saying, you're killing me, you're killing me? What the hell you think they're talking about?
I gotta say, I'm really not getting the brilliant, cutting-edge comic vibe from this guy. Lenny Bruce and Bill Hicks, he ain't.
I tell you not to worry, that this is all virtual, but you'd probably keep talking anyway.
Then again, under the circumstances, I suppose it's understandable if we're not getting his best material.
Why is it beautiful women always have the IQ of a fence post? I could use a break here, you morons. I'm running low on material fit for the thinking impaired. Ow! Oh! 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 Of course. Oh! I'm saving all the good stuff for Solix. Oh! Oh! I know you're coming, you asexual asshole. I figure you're late, 'cause you can't decide what to wear. But seriously, folks, what a leader, huh? No chance of corruption or scandal with Celine Solix. No chance they're ever gonna catch old Celine doing to his or her secretary what she's been doing to the country for years.
No bad talk, Solix.
Ah! Ah!
I wouldn't mind taking down the steroid case with the cattle prod, but I say we leave the twerp tied up.
Let's take care of the keeper and let Funny Boy figure the rest out for himself.
Well, that stands to reason. We can't really do anything to help out Mr. Commerce with Maculus standing there overseeing him. And you may have guessed that the Raconteran plays into our plan somehow. But if we use the keys on the Raconteran's cage without any further preparation, it'll just cut to a scene of our guts being eaten, cribbed directly from the Sanguinarius death scene. So we don't want that to happen. What we will do instead, if I can get Gideon visible here so I can access the inventory. Gideon? Okay, never mind. I'm just going to go to the inventory this way. What we can do is pour some of that delicious rancid gravy over Maculus. naturally. And that's gonna make him extra tasty looking, so that when we free the racketeering, it should take more of an interest to him. And there it goes.
Well, it took you long enough. You know, my father never mentioned the possibility of crucifixion, although he did tell me that wise guys end up sidewise. Of course, old Daddy-O should know. He's been horizontal for 10 years now.
I have to admit, I'm kind of with Rachel on this one. I'm actually kind of glad to be rid of him. Come to think of it, what does a shadow government actually need a comedian for? I don't know, I guess he could be a speechwriter or a propagandist or a PR guy or something like that, but I really don't know. Oh.
Well, isn't this lovely? What heroes they must consider themselves. 2 people rescued by our gallant arch-renegades. In and out of hell unsinged, and no sign of the Imperator. How special they must feel. It's a trap, you dumb little shits. Come into my web.
Yeah, the trigger for this cutscene seems a little flaky. You probably noticed that Solux said that we had rescued 2 people, when in fact we just finished rescuing, what was that, Chesu, Trenton, Dingo, and Eddie? 4. So yeah, we've actually rescued 4 people, and in practice I have found this cutscene to trigger anywhere between 2 and 5 rescues. Well, whatever, it gets the point across.
Welcome to Charon's...
Yeah, we've heard the pitch. Alright, having thoroughly looted the Hell Zoo, we now have everything we need to complete the ice field that we previously skipped over. So let's do that. Huh, no description. Well, this really isn't the most polished game sometimes. Let's see if we can have a look at the prisoner at least.
Conlin Danforth, wealthy financier to the Revolution, is encased in a block of ice near Cocytus, the frozen Hell Lake.
Alright, so we have that billionaire that was mentioned by Katarina back at the CFF. A hefty donor and supplier to the Resistance, I imagine.
Danforth is encased in a block of ice. We've got to free him.
Alright, I guess it stands to reason then he's not so able to communicate with us right now. Well, the first thing we have to do is get over to him. Unfortunately, if we were to try and walk straight to the guy, we would fall through the ice and die. And we don't want that, now do we? Well, I can think of only one way out of this predicament. Balloonicorns away! Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? How the music can free her whenever it starts, and the music makes you feel happy like an old-time movie. What the shit? Ah! That was not supposed to happen.
My lord, I have news of Brock and Ashanti. They are dead, my lord.
Dead? You are certain of this? You have seen the bodies?
With my own eyes, my lord. It is confirmed. Your enemies are dead.
At last! Then the re-entombment is completed. I would have preferred to have dealt with Ashanti and Brock personally, but perhaps it is better this way. This nightmare is at last ended. The hand's grip remains firm. God bless America.
Welp. Not entirely sure what happened there, but, yeah, at least we got a new game over sequence out of it, I guess. Well, there we have, the issue with doing an LP where you don't stop to save frequently. Yeah, I'm going to need to replay a chunk of game. So, hang tight, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I've played through all that stuff since the last save again, and dropped another save right here, just in case things go wrong again. And where are my balloonicorns? There they are. Okay, let's do this properly this time.
Danforth is encased in a block of ice. We've got to free him.
Yes, that's all very well established. Alright, thank you for letting go of the balloonicorns there, Gideon. And now that we're on the correct side of the ice, and not inexplicably letting go in midstream and crashing through to our deaths, we can use the firewater and melt our way through.
Thank you. So cold.
Alright, I'm glad that worked better that time. And out of our current options, that leaves us with just one more hell pit.
Welcome to Charon.
You can imagine from the various gaps, and I can in fact confirm, that we will have more hostage hell pits open to us later. But for now, this is the last one we can access until some more plot flags or time passes. Okay, what we've got here is a fairly traditional sort of hellfire treatment, just as Katerina told us. I'm not real sure why the fire is green, but whatever.
Between the wall of flame itself and the skulls tossed casually about, this hell pit seems more of a charnel than any of the other hell pits. It's as if all of the demons have tossed their scraps here and forgotten them. Forgotten the victims suspended behind the flame, too.
And speaking of the victim,
Prudence Alela suffers hell as it's traditionally known, roaring flames and searing heat.
fair enough. Now, we should periodically see a gas jet over here somewhere. Gas jet. Gas jet. Well, while we're waiting for that, let's see if we can have... Oh, there it is.
A sharp, high-pressure blast of steam.
Hell is leaking. Alright, well that's going to be key to our solution here, but before we get that figured out, let's have a chat with Prudence.
Hang on, Prudence. Senator Burr sent us here to rescue you.
Rescue me? What do you have in mind? Just gonna stroll across that moat of flame? My bonds are easily undone. It's getting across that moat that's the problem. The heat's unbearable. Don't know how much longer I can stand it.
Hold on. We'll do what we can.
Hurry! The pain is terrible.
Alright, so the solution here takes a little bit of timing, but nothing too difficult. What we've got to do is get that sort of trash can lid from Beautiful's Hell Pit. And immediately after the steam goes off, we have to put that on top of it. And then before the steam explodes, we have to jump on top. Let me just set this down in case it's keeping the steam from going off again. I'm being careful here because if you screw this up and put the lid down, but then don't get on top of the lid fast enough, the lid goes flying without you on it. Okay, Steam Geyser, anytime you want to go off would be just fine by me. Anytime. Anytime. Alright, well I'm going to go ahead and try and activate the solution and see what happens. Hurry, get in. There we go. Whee!
My God, you did it! You made it across the moat!
You're safe now. Any moment and you'll feel yourself fading away. I think you'll be surprised when you reach the other end.
Anything's got to be better than this. I can't believe I'm saved. That I'll live to see Senator Burr again. And that I'll live to fight Solix one more time.
I like that enthusiasm. I'm not sure if we could grab our steel lid again. Oh, it looks like we can. I don't think there's anything else that we'll ever need it for, but... Hey, hoarding. And with that, we've freed every single prisoner in hell that we currently have access to. As I mentioned earlier, there will be more to come. But for now, we're all done with Hell. The location, not the game. Let's see, now that we've done all that, does Senator Burr have anything more to say to us? I don't think so, but let's be thorough.
You should resist coming here unless you have something important to report about the attack squad, Solux, or Hell. Just visiting the embassy is reason enough for the Hand to pick you up.
Okay, that's the generic thing she says whenever you're in between events and there's nothing new for her to direct you to. So, fair enough. Katarina, how about you?
We need to get everybody out of there before we can try to crash Hell.
Okay, nothing new. So then, there is one location that we learned about from Mushua's computer, one more organization as well, and that is the Psionic League. Now, the Psionic League involves a big old chain of quests, more interesting than Gang Alley, but about as long, so it's gonna be a chewy mouthful to dig through. And as long as I've been playing, it's probably best to leave getting started on that for next time. So we'll confine today to the Hell Rescues, the first set, and call it a day for now. It's been a pleasure as always, folks. Thank you for watching, hope you're enjoying the run, and I'll see you again soon with more Hell and the Psionic League. Till then, take care.